Greetings, everyone. I'm excited to welcome Roi Ravhon, co-founder and CEO at Finout. Roi, welcome to the show.
Hey, Ben, thank you so much for having me.
Hey, great to have you here. Let's dive right in. Tell us a little bit about your background.
So my name is Roi, one of the founders and CEO of Finout. I started my way in Israeli military in the intelligence unit. Spent there around 7 years, doing through a couple of roles, starting with Linux administration and established the basic concepts of DevOps and self-service in here. Afterwards, I joined a company called Logs.io, which is the log management, metrics, and security. I started when we were, super small, around 10 employees. I joined as a DevOps engineer and spent a couple of years in the company, moved through a couple of positions within engineering. Where the last one I was director of engineering, responsible for the entire infrastructure of the company. So all of the data that goes in and out, backend infrastructure, application infrastructure, and also everything that's related to cloud financial management, where I was heavy users of one of the market leaders, which is now one of our competitors in Finout, try to build complicated data on top of it in order to answer simple business questions like what's our costs across the entire user base spend, how much do we spend for each customer, what's a specific team cost or feature, what's the minimum pricing we can give for a deal, what's our gross margin even is not a very straightforward question to answer in the cloud world. And at some point, we had enough. So we decided that we want to build a tool that we wanted to use. So the product manager was assigned to my group, was our CPO, together with our CTO, who came from a different company, started 3.5 years ago.
Okay, great. Yeah, appreciate that background. So yeah, big tech background. And yeah, cloud spend, I know at least to me as a CFO can be a bit of a black hole. So not sure, sometimes how to interpret those monthly bills. But yeah, let's talk about Finout. Tell us about the products and services that Finout offers.
So we're Finout helping companies manage their cloud spend across all of the cloud solutions like AWS, GCP, Azure, Oracle, but also on all the auxiliary services that tends to cost as much money, if not more than some of the clouds. So folks like Datadog and Snowflake and Databricks and Confluence. So we can aggregate the entire cost into one data set that we call the Finout Megabill. Then allow companies to start and create complicated allocation rules to support multiple different hierarchies within the organization. So what's the cost of the team that is rolling up to a group, to a mission, to whatever. And then we can help roll out the entire implementation. So essentially we want to help companies get to the point that everyone is aware of their cloud spend and they can take rightful decision, data-driven decisions. That we commoditize cloud spend within the organization, and then help companies drive better forecasting, better budgeting, better FinOps awareness, as well as cloud cost reduction, optimization, anomaly detection, reporting, and those kind of stuff.
Yeah, you're speaking my language because I had a question from a reader recently about coding invoices and coding them to departments. And, sometimes one invoice can go to multiple departments, and especially with cloud spend. And then you say Datadog, Snowflake, these ancillary services, you get this big bill each month. Well, it's not just coded to DevOps, maybe up in COGS, but coded to several departments. So it sounds like you can help really shed some visibility, some light on those invoices.
Exactly. That showback and chargeback is one of the main use cases companies find Finout for. So, it can be as easy as, this entire AWS account is going towards the department and then your life is easy, but it's usually not as much. So you need to start to pick and choose between different folks. It can even get more complicated with what we call Finout, shared cost reallocation. So think that you have a huge storage or huge database that is being, servicing 5 different teams. And you need to build those teams based on their proportional use of the database versus the actual amount of queries that are running. So we're starting to get to very, very advanced showback, procedures. And eventually that changes the budget. And they can't just do whatever they want and consume as much cost as they want without being accountable for it and without being deducted from my department budget. So as an engineering director, you're responsible for my spend. And this is a huge thing that we're doing with enterprises, helping them, realize their cloud spend and eventually charging it to the right place in the ranking.
Yeah, that makes a ton of sense. And you see, kind of these new software categories and spend management, now SaaS spend management, and obviously there's focus on cloud spend management. And one thing now, do you help like one is getting the bill, right? Interpreting it, but do you also help? Do you get into like how they can then reduce it or maybe look at things or look at, I don't know, get technical or the architecture to see how they can maybe reduce that bill over time or at least make sure it doesn't continue to go up?
Yeah, so it's a great question. Because think of it that cloud cost reduction has multiple different angles, right? So there's the low hanging fruits, and the stuff that we can just change. So right sizing a specific instance, change to newer technologies that is cheaper. Find idle resource, buy commitments. So those kind of stuff are easy. It's something that we're constantly helping companies do, but they also have diminished return. So we can't expect to save 20% year over year with just those kind of set of optimizations. But then we start to get into the more advanced stuff. Advanced stuff are not something that a vendor can automate for you. And then I can help you put a mirror inside of you. And proper cost allocation is usually one of the pillars in doing that. So if we understand that a specific service is costing us significantly more than what we thought, or growing in an out-proportional rate to the amount of units that it represents. So we help companies create those cost allocations and then convert them into unit costs. So for example, I have an ingestion pipeline that I want to pay per the amount of gigs that I'm processing, and the amount of seats, events, transactions, whatever it is that I'm selling. And so I want to start to measure, units versus cost and make sure that the line is flat or even reducing because we want economy of scale to kick in at some point, right? So create that and see where are the anomalies in unit costs and what service is costing me more than what I anticipated and what team is getting an anomaly based on the specific allocation that it has, have huge impact on the company's financial structure over time.
Yeah, definitely. We know cloud spend can get big. It can be a big portion of the COGS area, especially for SaaS companies. I know a lot of others using cloud tools besides SaaS. But tell us who are you selling? What's your ideal customer profile? Like, what industries are you selling into right now?
So in terms of industries, we're pretty agnostic. We have customers across media, cyber, entertainment, e-commerce, the fintech, edtech. Everyone has the same problem in common, which is cloud is expensive, right? So it's more of a technological vertical rather than a business one. In terms of size, we usually sell to the bigger companies out there. So multiple Fortune 500s and companies that have millions and millions and millions of dollars on file. Then we also have lots of in the mid market, but usually Finout starts to get interesting if you're spending over $1 million a month.
Okay, yeah, makes sense. And then what role are you selling into? Is it the chief product officer? Is it the CTO? What role are you trying to find in these organizations?
So we really start to see Finout's role being very, very widespread across the industry. So currently 48 out of the Fortune 50, if I'm not mistaken, is part of the Finout's foundation right now. So it's no longer a niche kind of thing that some very mature organizations have. Everyone has Finout's. And FinOps need a tool. They need a new system of record to work. So FinOps is working on Finout the same as sales is working on Salesforce, right? Just to have the proper connotation here. So we need to get to the FinOps practitioner. They're the one that actively using the platform, and they're the one that taking the buying decision. If they're gonna love using Finout and we're solving their problems, they're gonna buy. It's not so we can just force FinOps tool down their throat through their C-level. It's not gonna work. It's not the type of company that we have. So we put a lot of emphasis on the product, the user experience, on technology that enables FinOps to do stuff that no one else in the market can. And by doing that, we got the FinOps heart. And once they love using Finout, we're a better tool than the rest in the market. So it's usually a fairly easy decision to switch that.
Yeah, I mean, it makes a ton of sense. Obviously, a huge market out there, and you probably like to hear when AWS, reports high revenues and billions in revenues, right? That just helps solutions like yours. So tell us, what year did you found Finout?
We founded Finout in 2021, uh, March of 21. We incorporated in Global City.
Okay, so March of 2021, so about 3 years into the journey. And then do you have a headquarters or are you all virtual?
Yeah, so we have two offices, one in Tel Aviv, which is more engineering and product kind of side, and another office in New York, which is the customer facing role. So sales, CS, and this.
Okay, all right, Tel Aviv and New York. And then what's your current team size?
Around 50 employees, growing rapidly.
Okay, 50, 1 5 or 50?
50.
Okay. Oh, okay. 50 staff growing rapidly. That's great. And then anything you want to share around revenue ranges or ARR ranges?
So we're not sharing specific numbers. I can tell you that we're tripled since the beginning of the year, and it's not very small numbers. And we continue to grow and we budget at every board meeting. So, the macroeconomics for Finout is favoring, right? So both companies are now taking their cloud spend a lot more seriously than they used to because of the downturn. And two of our biggest competitors got acquired by IBM and Broadcom. And so we kind of cleared the way for the younger generation. And we just have the best product in the market.
And yeah, I love when you hear those revised forecasts up, not down. So that's great. And tell us, it seems like a big market out there. You talk about media companies, e-commerce, SaaS, a lot of companies tackle out there. So tell us a little bit about your go-to-market motion and how you're reaching out to these prospects.
So we're working both direct and with partners. Direct was the way that we started, and most of the business is going direct. But now we're building a very strong partnership with both the cloud providers. So AWS starts to be a very big channel for us and growing, and also the MSPs and GSIs. These are the ones that are tasked with companies that retain them to help them with cloud spend or their reseller of AWS costs via those kind of mechanisms. So they are traditionally helping companies to manage their cloud spend using the tool that they provide as part of the offering. And on their front, we're helping them manage their internal billing and avoid chargebacks. So we're doing both and accelerating on the partners front lately.
Okay. Appreciate that. So direct and partner channels to prospect and land that business. And then let's switch to the fundraising side. I saw there's a recent Series B, but how much capital have you raised to date?
Almost $45 million.
Okay, 45 million. Is that USD raised to date?
Yes.
Okay, USD. And it looked like a Series B recently of around 26 million.
That's it. We just announced it a couple of weeks ago. So the round was led by Red Dot Capital. It's an Israeli VC firm joined by Maor Investments. It's an Israeli European firm. And our existing investors, Bitengo, Team 8, and Jive.
Okay. And so a decent amount of capital raised. And talk about this Series B, because we hear with us, and you'll love to hear your insight here. Like with a Series A, you start seeing those signals, product market fit, you're getting some traction. So let's accelerate a little bit. So tell us about the triggers or milestones that led to the Series B raise.
So I think when you get to Series B, you need to show a lot more, science to your SaaS metrics. So Series seed is just a deck. A is still a partial dream, and B, it's a lot more numbers and still a bit of a dream, but later on there are just financials. So it's we needed to show that we have the pipeline to support the growth that we have, and that we figured out how to sell the product, and we have a couple of good quarters, and we know that we can continue and we can accelerate, and we can show, the math for growth investors to have the next round. Right? So there's a lot of burden in terms of which customers we'll be able to retain, which logos and which industries, to make sure we have a coherent story and state of mind. And those are the basic that is our deal. And it was not like a specific number that we needed to hit and, feel comfortable. I needed to know that I can use the money that you're raising in order to accelerate the business and not just raise because I want.
Oh, I love that. And listeners, I did not pay Roy to say to show the SaaS metrics, the science of SaaS metrics, because, I live and breathe SaaS metrics. So I love that. And I've heard that from other founders as they're scaling, getting to that Series B and beyond. One founder described it as a very formulaic approach to now scaling. And like you said, showing that math and I love that you can show how you're going to deploy that capital versus just, all right, it's great to have cash in the bank, but how are we actually going to use that wisely?
Mhm. Yeah. So it's all P&Ls. We spend so much time in Excel, like before, after, like every iteration of the budget. Now it's, you change one number here and the entire picture is now different. So it's the art of checks and balances. I think, without changing that in the Excel, and we keep on running those kind of sets of iterations to tell a story. And for our size of company, creating a coherent P&L is very hard, because it's very hard to codify a company that is based on not enough history and not enough people and not enough deals to actually like make something that averages out. So if you try to create like the most average, you create with a company that doesn't make any sense, right? So you need to start inject abnormalities into the model and see like how you can actually deal with it going over time, and to make the P&L tell a story that is actually like your company's, rather than just what investors wants to look at. Just writing good P&L, it's easy, but it's not something you can actually stand behind. And I don't love showing just numbers that that makes no sense, and just with the graphs that people wants to see. I want to tell the story.
Yeah, absolutely. And I would say it's like, especially with SaaS P&L or just your metrics in general, it's like make those easily consumable for your board, for your investors, potential investors, right? You just have better quality discussions. So appreciate that insight. So, thinking about your fundraising journey so far, 45 million raised to date, any fundraising lessons learned that you'd like to pass along to other SaaS founders?
Fundraising is never a fun thing to do, right? You're starting to talk to some people. Many don't even understand what you're doing. Many don't believe in you and your business. Many don't believe in your metrics and whatever. And it's a frustrating at time process. Having a war in your home country doesn't help. And, it's an iterative process, but it's a matter of resilience. I think. So you're getting into fundraising in a state of mind that I know that it's going to be a not super fun couple of months. I'm not doing anything else out of fundraising. This is my task right now. I need to bring more money into the company and clearing the schedule. We need to see that, the company is ready for me to detach for a couple of months, and embracing the no's, but on the other hand, not overcorrecting on feedbacks. So that's a tough balance. So many investors don't like to say no. They just like, oh, let's talk in X amount of time, or give you just excuses without telling you the actual proof of why they're not choosing to invest, which can be like completely rational, but they don't want to tell you the truth. So then you end up chasing feedbacks that are not necessarily meaning anything. So you need to see like what feedback's actually returning. And if the feedback's taken to return, then you have a problem. Then you can identify the blind spots that you might have. And like honestly, and wrongly, I discovered the blind spot that I have in the organization. How we described it in our story, and it made a couple of changes after the fundraising, which was great. I think that's it.
Yeah, I mean, that's a lot. I'm sure. Yeah, a lot of lessons learned in that process that are, those are very helpful for the community. So, Roy, at this stage of your business, do you have a favorite number or numbers or metrics that you're focused on to guide the business?
So there are a couple of metrics that we track constantly. We show them every board meeting, and our obviously revenue. That's the easy one. NRR, I think, is the most important metric in SaaS after revenue. So if you continue selling and bringing new business, but you're losing the same amount of capital every month, like the SaaS compound effect doesn't really work. I really love magic number. Yes, something that helps you to quantify, like, are you investing enough? And should you press down on the gas, and should you break down from the gas? So it's a big number. And also CAC versus LTV. It's still not super meaningful for companies our size because you don't have enough record. But I really believe that's when we start to measure a metric, we start to look at it more seriously. And so this is also something that we put as a North Star, and we want to make sure that we're not overspending on where we shouldn't, but we actually got to the point that all of our metrics are now like too high. So we need to, we're under investing across the entire organization, and we need to open a bunch of recs, and we need to spend more money in marketing. We need to do a lot more stuff. So it's fun to be metric bounded as a company. So those are the four that we really got getting.
Oh, that's great. And I'm not surprised after going through Series B that you're just rattling those off. So, right, revenue, of course, North Star, net revenue retention, magic number, LTV to CAC, all important SaaS metrics. So appreciate that. So, Roi, really appreciate your time today. As we wrap up, tell us what's coming up next for Finout.
Yeah, so I think we have an amazing opportunity on our end. We're not just a cloud cost optimization solution that the market is flooded by. We create a real solution to solve a real problem, selling to real companies out there that fortunately, like most of the companies we can state the name publicly, but there's a huge opportunity right now with the migration to the cloud, with digital transformation, with the growth of cloud services, and the usage of more and more auxiliary services on top of it. And let's just wait and see what AI is going to do to the entire cloud-based consumption, right? So there's a very big company to be built here. We have the best technology right now in the market. We have the best product right now in the market. I feel super confident saying that, and our win rates are like indicating that as well. So we're here to stay. We're here to build something big and a meaningful company within the FinOps space, and taking the market leader stance in a couple of years.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, sounds like things are really, really going well. Huge market to address. So, Roi, really appreciate your time today, sharing your journey. If listeners would like to learn more about Finout, where should we send them online?
To finout.io, FINOUT.io. We have a lot of information. We have a lot of written blog posts, lots of case studies, ebooks, and you can just schedule time with us directly. The website, see a demo, and see if it's something that is interesting for you guys.
Oh, perfect. So check out finout.io if you'd like to learn more. And again, Roi, really appreciate your time and sharing your journey.
Thank you so much, Ben, for having me today.
Thanks.